Hello and welcome back to the Processor Guide. Today, I'm going to be the studio guy because we're going to take a little departure and talk about how you can set up your own home studio. I get a lot of guys, I post a lot of videos to Facebook, and I have my own YouTube channel. If you look in the About section of this channel and you scroll down to the bottom, there will be a couple of links down there. One is the link to my music channel, my alter ego, Deke Del Vecchio. That's the name that I release my music under. And there's a link to the book that I'm going to talk about today. This book, Your Own Home Studio, it's not as hard as you think, and it's not as expensive as you think either. Um, I've had a lot of people ask me, they've seen a lot of the videos that I've done, and there are always a lot of questions about how do you get such good sound? What kind of amplifier are you using? What kind of effects, pedals, and stuff? And I get all these questions, and it's a little, I laugh sometimes, I chuckle sometimes because none of the videos that I do I use an amplifier. I use an amp when I'm recording music to release, but I don't use an amp when I'm recording music like for this channel or for my other channel. I don't bother with it because I've got a home studio. I've got enough gear in here to make sure that I get a good, really clean, good sounding production with my studio gear. Now, you can do this. This is not hard. Um, it may seem a little difficult at first. You may have thought about it and thought, no, there's no way that I could set up a studio and run a studio, but you can. Trust me, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Believe me. The first thing you got to do, you got to go out and get yourself a mixer. And you see over here on the side of the screen, I'm going to show you a picture of the mixer that I'm using right now. I'm using a Behringer Xenix 1202 FX. Now that means that it's got 12 inputs, right? And it's got two different outputs. I can split sub A and sub B. And then FX means it's got internal built-in effects. And that was fine when I first started. I don't use the internal effects anymore, but you need to get a mixer that's going to have enough input channels. I've got 12 input channels. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I play guitar and I play bass and I play drums, so I program my drum machine. I play keyboards. I've got a Casio keyboard and a synth down on the bottom. So I needed a mixer that had a lot of inputs on it, right? I'm going to show you a quick picture of the one that I'm using right here. This is a Behringer mixer. You can pick this up right now for maybe 150 bucks. Probably it might even be a little bit cheaper. You need to go to the different online music retailers. There's Musician's Friend and Guitar Center and Sweetwater and a couple of different places. That's a picture of the mixer that I'm using right now. Real simple. I mean, real simple. Basic. Very, very basic. Okay? And you see everything that I've got plugged in there. I plugged my guitar processor. I use my ME80. I plug that in stereo. My keyboards are running stereo. My drum machine is running stereo. So I needed a lot of inputs so that I can have stereo spread in all the mixes that I do. Simple, simple little mixer. Maybe it costs 150 bucks now. Probably not even that much. Okay. Now you're asking yourself, should I get a mixer that has a USB device built in? I shied away from it. I'm going to say no because what I found was, and this actually happened to me. I had another Behringer mixer that was a 1202 USB FX, right? And what happened was the mixer went bad. What happened? And I wound up not only did I lose my mixer, I lost my mixer, I lost my USB audio device, and I lost my effects all at the same time. So now I have three separate components. I have a mixer, I have a USB audio device, and I have an effects unit, okay? Here's my USB audio device. You're going to run all of your instruments into the mixer. Then you're going to use probably the tape out. Tape in, tape out is the best way to shuttle back and forth to the computer. This is what I'm using for my USB audio device. Give it just a second. There it is right there. Another Behringer product. Behringer makes inexpensive stuff. I'm not going to say it's the best stuff out there, but look, you don't need a Cadillac to go to the grocery store, do you? Nope. A Hyundai will work just fine. So I'm using my Hyundai. It's called a U-Control. Behringer USB audio device. You see, it's got 4 different RCA inputs, 2 in and 2 out in stereo. And then on the coming out of the left side of the device is the USB cable, plugs right into my USB hub on the top of my desk. Okay, easy peasy. I like to keep the USB device and the mixer separate. I think it's more advantageous that way. If one of them fails, you lose both. That's the problem. Now, if my USB device fails, my mixer still works. I can still shuttle, I can go out and spend $30. This costs $30. That USB device costs $30. I can find $30 and change in my couch. So, if it dies, I don't lose my mixer and my effects all at the same time. Okay? Now, you may not initially want to start out with an effects processor. I did, because I knew I did recently. When I first started, the effects that were inside the mixer were fine. I wasn't as knowledgeable about recording techniques when I first started. I'm much more knowledgeable now. And I know that I want to have high quality effects, extreme high quality effects. So what I did was I built myself a rack box. And this is just, this is a rack unit FX processor. So I looked online and I'm like, well, I need a 5-space rack box. And a 5-space rack box started at $399, which is kind of pricey. So what I did was I spent about $25 in wood and other materials. And bam, I built my own rack box out of wood. There's my rack box right there. There's my FX2000, my Virtualizer 3D, okay? Right above it is that's the equalizer that I use for my studio monitors. We're going to talk about studio monitors in a minute. That's my rack box. I built that, $25 worth of wood and other materials, literally, instead of spending $399 on it. To me, that was a waste of time. Now, you're going to need a really good set of speakers. All right. If you're using a computer-controlled recording software, or DAW, digital audio workstation, you've already got speakers. Okay. But for mixdown, that's great. The speakers that are with your computer, they're okay for listening to pre-produced music, but they're designed for pre-produced music. Okay. For music that already has a ton of compression on it and pro mastering tools. But what you're going to want to get is an outboard set of studio monitors. And I'm going to show you a picture. I don't know how clear it's going to be. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see the monitors that I have up on top of my computer. I don't know that you're really going to be able to see them all that well. But let me pop this picture up. Maybe this one's the one. No, that's not the one. Hold on. That's the one. Where is it? Let me look a little closer here. No, I don't have that picture up. You might be able to see one of them in this picture. Here's me. My computer speakers are sitting inside here. There's one, there's the other. Okay. Up on top left here, that's one of my monitors. And over here on the right-hand side, that's the other monitor. These were $100 a pair. They're really good monitors. They're good and loud. They're only 50 watts, but you don't need 300 watts of monitors. You don't. It needs to be loud enough that you can hear mistakes and audio quality. The studio monitors are for mixdown. They will punch up any problems in audio quality. If you can make your mix sound great through a pair of studio monitors, it'll sound good through anything. Okay? Doesn't matter. So, and if you'll look down here in this part of the picture, there's my DAW. I'm using Cakewalk's Sonar X1 LE, the producer edition. It's a little bit pricier than the intro model, the entry level model. But you know what? I got good at using my DAW many years ago, so I paid a little bit extra for what I'm using right now. The two things you're going to spend the most money on are your mixer, your sub-mixer, okay? You need to spend the money on the mixer. Don't be afraid. You can get a good one for $100. Don't go over, say, $200 for your mixer. The next most important thing you're going to buy is your software, your DAW, whatever recording software you want to use. If you don't already have it, look into them first. Go look for reviews. Go look at YouTube videos, go to the manufacturer's websites, the retailers' websites. And so this is my cat. This is my cat, Geddy, named after my favorite bassist and vocalist, Geddy Lee. Go look at all the, as many reviews as it takes for you to feel comfortable. Entry level is what you're looking for. You're not going to, I'm going to suggest that you start small and simple as far as your first DAW goes, because you're going to want to upgrade in a year, maybe 2, maybe 5. Maybe you'll be good with this for a long time. You don't know. But don't spend a lot of money up front on it. It's going to cost more than some of the other stuff, right? That USB device, that was $30. That's cheap. That mixer I've got over there, that's $100. That was cheap. But I knew what I needed. So the next thing we're going to look at, you're going to put all this, you're going to put all your instruments into your mixer. Then your mixer's going to go out to your USB device, and you're going to have, you'll have a regular set of computer speakers, and then you'll have your studio monitors. But you're also going to want to plug headphones in. I have a friend of mine, plays guitar and sings, writes songs, great singer, excellent songwriter. And he comes over every now and then we record, so I need 2 sets of headphones. So what I bought, to handle all these outputs, right? I have audio out to my computer speakers. I have audio out to my studio monitors. I have audio out to 2 different sets of headphones. So that's 4. Your mixer is not going to have 4 different audio outs. So what you're going to want to buy is a headphone distribution amplifier. Doesn't matter who you get it from. Doesn't matter where you get it. Again, that's a Behringer unit called the HA400. It's a headphone amplifier. Headphone distribution amplifier. And you see I've got mine labeled down here. One says computer speakers, monitors, headphones 1 and headphones 2. And then they've each got their individual level controls right there. You're going to take an output from your mixer into this, and then you're going to plug your computer speakers into it, your studio monitors, and your headphones into it. And this is going to create line level signals that are good and strong, and they're going to sound awesome for listening to what you're doing. Okay, that's the easy stuff right there. The DAW is the hardest part. That's the one that only you can decide what you need. Okay. The user interface needs to be simple. If you've never used a DAW before, you need to get one that has a very, very easy user interface. Something that's very, very simple to use at first. Like I said, you'll probably wind up upgrading at some point. I actually have 3 different DAWs in my computer. I have the Sonar X1 LE, I have Ableton Live Lite, and I have Harrison Mixbus. And I have, one of them was free. The Ableton was free, so I went ahead and just downloaded it. The Harrison Mixbus I got as sort of a backup in case my original DAW, flamed out and died on me. I had something to replace it. So, and I will occasionally use the other 2, every now and then just to experiment with them. I've found that the Sonar X1 LE just has a better user interface. It's much easier for me to use. You can set the screen up. Here's, let me pop up a picture of the DAW, just the DAW itself, the screen. I can pop up a picture literally over here. This is my mixer over here on this side, right? Here's my mixer. I can turn tracks on and off. I can mute them so I don't have to hear them. I can solo them so I can hear them by themselves. I can add, effects and stuff in here. These are the different tracks. You see the different tracks that I've recorded in this particular piece right here, right? It's very easy to use. It's very simple to use. I highly recommend it, but again, it's your choice, okay? Now, ultimately, you're going to want to keep the cost as low as possible. And I'm suggesting Behringer equipment because they make quality stuff for a reasonable price, okay? That headphone distribution amp, $29.95, $30. The USB audio device, $30. The mixer, $100, right? Those are the big 3 right there for me. You're going to want to get, eventually, you're going to want to get some next level, a next level effects unit. And again, I'm using a Behringer unit. I'm using the Virtualizer 3D. I think it's also called the FX 2000. It's got the most beautiful, lush, just the most shimmery reverbs and beautiful choruses, and you name it, it's got everything. Everything. And when you're recording vocals, right? For recording vocals, you need to have the best reverbs that you can possibly get, the best delays that you can possibly get, okay? And while your mixer may have effects on it, they're not going to be the best that you can get. Your DAW will also have effects that you can use, that you can put on a track once it's recorded. And I do that often. This is, you can put together a home studio, a really powerful home studio, and produce really great music for about $500 or less than $500. If you're careful on how much you spend for the DAW and you're careful how much you spend for the mixer, then $500 and you've got a complete home studio. Everything that you need right there. You're going to need cables and cords and connectors, but that depends on your own personal uses, right? I had to get a bunch of stereo cables, one for the drum machine. I had to get a stereo cable for my guitar processor, my ME80. I had to get a stereo cable for my keyboard and a stereo cable for the synth because I record them in stereo. I want that stereo field bouncing back and forth. So I guess this is a good quick way to explain that you can put a home studio together on the cheap and wind up with a really powerful home studio. You can also go to Amazon.com, put in Mark's search books and put in my name, and you'll find this book. This little book right here is a handy little devil to have. Not only does it show you, not only does it tell you exactly what you need to start your own home studio, it also gives you some pro tips and tricks that the professionals use when they record music, right? How they get those really cool sounds that we all just love so much. This book has a section literally just devoted to tips and tricks from the pros. So Amazon.com, Mark Perdico, search my name under books, and boom, you'll find it. It's a great book, and it's not terribly expensive, but it's a great book, and it's a handy little guide to have there when you want to put together your studio. This book literally lists everything that you're going to need, and it lists it in the order you're going to want to buy them. So that when you do finally, if you've already got a DAW, then here are the things that you need to buy to start. And then if you don't have a DAW yet, or recording software yet, you pick up these items first, then you install your DAW, and then you get the rest of what you need. Okay, so that when you install your DAW, everything that you need to put your sound, your mixer, all your instruments into the computer, it's all there and ready to go. Okay, so that's one other thing. I'm going to show you just a quick picture. This is my drum machine. This is my mixer over here, right? There's my Behringer Xenix mixer there. That's my Alesis SR16. That's running stereo because, I want to hear those drums going from left to right, or from right to left. When you're watching a drummer live, you're watching him, those fills go from right to left. So when I'm recording my drums in stereo, I want to make sure that they go from right to left. So it sounds like it's live. It's a little trick, but it works. That's my drum machine. I've got a spare processor over here, Digitech RP55. I use it. It's got a couple of neat sounds in it that I kind of like, so every now and then I'll plug it in and I'll use it. But there's my headphone distribution amp is here, right here. And then my USB audio device is over here in the upper right corner, okay? And you can just barely see my Virtualizer 3D, the FX 2000, in my rack box. That's a hand-built homemade rack box right there. I bought the rack rails and the screws and everything, and then went to Home Depot and bought some wood. Got the dimensions exactly the way I measured my got the dimensions of a rack box from one of the retailer websites, and then just went and built one. Not hard. If you've got, a hammer and screw and screwdriver and some nails, you can do this. It's simple. And you can save $300. Do not go buy a prefab plastic rack box. Don't. Just build you one. Just build one. It's so much easier. It's so much cheaper. And you can build it to any depth that you want. I wanted 5 rack spaces because there are 2 other pieces of equipment. I've got 2 in mine right now. There are 2 other rack units that I want to buy. One is a compressor limiter, and one is for microphones. It's a preamp, a mic preamp. I have 2 other pieces I'm still going to buy. So I wanted to make sure that I had 5 rack spaces. I need 4, but I wanted to have 1 left over to kind of see, so I can store junk on the bottom like I'm doing here. All right. So there we go. That's about it. If you scroll down, if you go to the About section on the channel and you scroll down, you'll see 2 links. One is the link to my book. Okay. I can't urge you strongly enough. If you want to put together a home studio that works and you can produce your own music at home, click that link, buy the book. And in no time at all, you too will be recording your own music. Every song that I've released, every one, and I've released 19 of them or 20 of them. I don't even remember now. I've done so damn many of them. I've released 19 or 20 songs. Every single one of them was recorded, produced at home. Every one of them. Using the home studio that I have right now. And again, I didn't spend $10,000 on this. So you can spend about $500, put yourself together a really nice home studio. All right? All right, y'all. I wish you luck. I wish you peace. I wish you good playing. Okay? So, peace.